Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Rosie here, and I play Dead by Daylight, so you don't have to. Talk about a patch that fucking fizzled out, bruh. This fucking shit couldn't stick the landing. This is horrible. I was excited for this killer, and now I'm not. This chapter looks awful. And it's very upsetting because when I actually read it for the first time, this is something I was actually more excited for than most stuff because it looked like we were getting a very good killer with at least that Scourge perk might be all right, like some mid tier perk options that you might be able to throw on some gimmicky gen defense build. Like it looked like we were gonna have some fun stuff, but talk about something that just didn't stick the landing at all. This just fucking sucked. Needed changes didn't come in. Nothing with the game's core yet. I think core changes are more likely to show up on mid-chapter patches than actual chapters. So like that itself doesn't like bother me. Pinhead's getting nerfed for some reason. I don't fucking know why. This sucks. And then the dev note fucking at the bottom. Cenobi has been overperforming since he came to Dead by Daylight. These add-on changes are intended to bring his 5 best performing add-ons more in line to reduce his overall power. Oh, this Pinhead's the thing that needs looked at right now. MMRs in this game gutting the killer population, and a killer purge is taking place right now. We're gonna nerf Pinhead. I just don't get that. So these add-ons look fucking gutted. I don't know, bruh. I always thought turn rate was better than this shit. This all looks like passive 4v1 shit. That if the survivors are good, they just beat. These, to me, that looks like the shit that they nerfed, was like, I don't know, I'm looking at this, and it looks like everything that was nerfed just beat babies, and it didn't actually beat anybody good. I don't know, just based on reading this shit, that's what it looks like to me. Larry's remains decreased solving time modifier to 2 seconds was from 4. I guess if you're, like, getting chased by the... I think that makes holding the box even fucking stronger now. I don't know. I just feel like people aren't holding the box enough against this character. They aren't doing it. They're not securing advantage and then robbing them of the 1v4. And like that shows you how bad the Survivor player base is. I don't know. At top level, the character's still gonna be fucking shit. He's still like he's still low mid garbage. Just like over half the roster. Boons still destroy him. He doesn't have the presence to deal with the Boons. As long as you're holding that box, he can't really do anything. So changes for babies, bruh. This is getting a little tiring. I'm waiting for the Mori mechanic. Okay, we'll deal with that at the end. This is getting a little tiring though, reading that shit. And then Spirit was optimized again. Fuck these. Just bug fixes. We should probably take a look at these. Meat barrels in the Thompson house causing invisible collision. Trickster's voiceover lines are not localized. Okay, those are probably the least relevant 4 bugs that we're gonna have to deal with tonight. Changes from the PTB. Artist extended the power limitation zone around the hook survivors to 10 that change isn't really a big deal. Okay, that doesn't bother her. The next one kills her. Swarm survivors who contact the idle dire crows will now have the repel action reset instead of being injured. Before it was if you run into a dire crow, you got the birds, and then if you hit a second one, then you take damage. And that was really, really good for forcing a transition. Now the gameplay looks so less fun on both sides. Now that you don't take damage, you can just run the loop. Like you can just run the loop because she can't damage you through walls, right? Oh wait, no, that's just the other one. So it gives her a chance to hit you still, but like, that's bad. Because you're not even on the side of the crow where it can actually hit you. Maybe if she presses the attack button as you get there, but then the crows would just fly off, right? I don't know. This looks rough. So now the artist might want to position crows at places, like, around things. So instead of, like, when they get there, instead of them running into it to take damage, you place it slightly backwards. And then once they get to that spot, then you release it Or if they back up and then try to get it, then they don't run the loop right, and then you hit them. But then their dead hard will save them. So, like, the survivors have enough like, even if you backed up slightly and placed the Dire Crow there, the survivors would still have enough time to go reset their meter and then dead hard to the pallet, continuing dead hards trying to cucking every single killer in this fucking game. Don't know how it's even a conversation for it being not the best exhaustion perk, because you would still have enough time to break away from the loop and then dead hard to the pallet in like 9 out of 10 situations. These changes will help made to reduce the artist's power to shut down unhooking. And what the hell does that mean? And to also make her less oppressive during short loops by giving a survivor counterplay options. This affects her ability to control everything, not just short loops. This affects her ability to control the jungle gyms and makes putting the pallet down early against her even stronger because you don't have to transition now. What that means is you don't have to transition. It means you can tight kite her. It means you can tight kite the fuck out of her. As long as you keep reading her. Her Dire Crows look less reactable than Pyramid Heads, so it does look like you still have to get a read. But no, that makes her way less fun. It cuts down her power to an extreme degree in a meta that didn't need it. In a meta that didn't fucking need it. These boon totems are fucking unchecked. They're destroying everything in the game that is good. And now we're nerfing 2 killers. And next, Grim Embrace was increased to 40 seconds. Again, that could say a minute, it would still be bad. Hooking all 4 survivors is that perk's problem, not the time. Hex Pimiento, another kind of disappointing thing, where the Hex is now worse because gen speed and healing speed were flipped in the original description. So because they were flipped, it means that the gen repaired, you need 2 of those fucking things up to get a 30% gen defense increase. And in a meta where boons are running rampant, you're just not going to see that against anybody who's fucking good. That's a waste of a slot. And then the survivor, of course, they didn't get shit. The survivor perks did not get toned down at all. So you still have to deal with perma unbreakable with the boon up. This sucks. Okay, this patch is truly fucking pathetic. This fucking sucks major shit. Okay, so what are we gonna do? This was horribly disappointing, and this patch ignored MMR for the most part, which really, really sucks. This patch ignored MMR. The last one didn't. This one did. Completely ignored it. That's unfortunate. However, the one thing, I'm not just gonna randomly shit on them yet, okay? I'm waiting for the Mori mechanic, okay? If the Mori mechanic flips this game on its head to the same degree that the Boons did, we can get killers more power overall and get them back in it. The base killer will be stronger. Hopefully, this Mori mechanic is enough to lift these, cause another meta shift, and get these fucking mid-tiers out of the fucking low tier where they are right now. Because of the Boons. Okay? So my hope is that they are preparing this fucking Mori mechanic, which is really, really strong, and we're still balancing the killers around the fix of the game in the Mori mechanic. That's what I'm hoping we're doing here. Is that likely? No. And if the Mori mechanic is bad, then we're going right back to shitting on the devs. That's the absolute last straw with them, if that Mori mechanic is bad or nerfed in any single way coming to main game. So, this chapter sucks. MMR doesn't suck. MMR, my faith in MMR is not deterred at all. They just ignored it here. That's what happened. They ignored it. MMR is fine. MMR is great. MMR is still doing its job. You have to listen to the fucking data it's giving you. The data it's no doubt giving you. How many of those player base, I've seen you taking some player base hits, how many of those are killer players? You have to wonder. Our player base dropped like what, 5%? How much of that was killer players? And because 1/4 of the population plays killer, like, if all those were killer players, you might have been looking at like a 20% drop in your killer population there. Or something like that. I think that's what somebody said on Discord today. Like, if all those players were killers, which definitely more of them were, you could be looking at a pretty big hit to your killer population right there. So, this is this something they should be worried about? If they need to put that Mori mechanic in. That's what's going to get people back on the killer side. That's what's going to do it. Hopefully you do it in a way that makes the survivors think that it's going to be better than not having it. Or if it's on the offerings, the whole thing's trash and it's bad. But overall, this patch sucked. Pinhead's scrub destroying add-ons were nerfed, and then the artist The artist just got reined in. She's not A tier anymore. She'd be lucky to get fucking Keystone after reading that fucking change. Alright, so that's my stance. We're waiting for the Mori mechanic before we fucking turn on these devs. But this patch sucked. Do better. It's fucking horrible. Alright, I'm getting the hell out of here. GG's.